Welcome back. ChannelsTV.com has more information for you, and on YouTube.com/channelsweb you can also watch our videos. You can watch us on your mobile device via your browser or download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS and Windows devices from their respective stores. Besides giving you access to news, updates on the go, the Channels TV and Channels 24 app have an eyewitness feature with which you can share pictures, videos, or news of happenings around you. Just install the app, then tap and swipe to reveal the menu and follow the instructions. Now let's stay with the return of the Dapchi Schoolgirls and what could have been done differently. And joining us from our Abuja studios is the former director of the Department of State Security, Mr. Mike Ejiofor. Thank you for joining us on News Across Nigeria. What do you think about the manner in which the girls were set free? You heard the Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed, talking about the help of friends of the country and what have you. What do you think of the way it was done?
Well, I think the way the girls were released is done in a professional way. And I must first of all congratulate the federal government, the state government, people of Nigeria, and indeed everybody and the parents of these girls who were involved in this unfortunate incident. The fact remains that our agencies, I believe, worked underground. If you recall that during the visit of the Secretary of State of the United States, the President did assure that in 2 weeks, these girls will be released. So I believe they must have gotten to an advanced stage of the negotiations before such statement was made. That statement was also collaborated or reiterated by the Minister of Defense. Be that as it may, we're all happy, but the most important thing is to prevent a reoccurrence of this incident, which has put us in a very bad light.
For the remaining girl that is still held captive by Boko Haram. One is still in there, is still being held captive by them, and the ones that died in the process of this occurrence. What's your opinion?
Well, it's unfortunate that those girls died in the process, and want to pray that they rest in peace. For the remaining one, it's a very sad commentary that the Boko Haram insurgents are insisting that that girl should renounce her religion. There's no way in Islamic religion where you compel somebody to change his religion, even in our constitution. So it's quite rather unfortunate, and I urge the government to continue and insist to ensure the air release of that girl, because she's alone there now as it is, and it's not very healthy for her. It's very, very sad indeed.
Now, the girls were released a day after Amnesty International accused the Nigerian army of ignoring warnings about the abduction, a claim which the army have now denied. And what does this say about the whole process?
Well, the army, you see, if you recall that there was an exchange of words between the president who handed over to and who was not handed over to. So I believe the Amnesty must have capitalized on that to issue a statement. But I want to urge our security agencies to work in synergy to ensure that there's no gap between them and pursue this cause in one voice. Because if they sing in discordant tunes, we're not going to achieve results. This is a very trying moment, a very critical period for Nigeria, and we must all put our heads together to see that we overcome this, more so when we are entering election period now. It's very, very serious, and I want to urge all Nigerians to be cautious on the way they even report, the media in particular, on the way they report these issues, because if you recall that when this issue, the news broke of the release of the girls, we had conflicting figures because people rushed to, people would say 76, some would say all of them, some would say 101. So we must verify our information. And I also believe that this particular incident of the girl who was asked to renounce her religion should have been kept behind the scene, because of the security implications it will have on our country.
Now, Mr. Ejiofor, there are various reactions to this, including the presidency trying to save itself the kind of embarrassment suffered by the Jonathan administration. Do you think negotiating with terrorists, which the West opposes, is actually the way to go, even though it's understood?
Well, I don't want to start all these blame games. I think the government should focus on its governance instead of blaming. I had the Minister of Information saying that they were not in administration. He has also forgotten that he made the APC made a promise that within a given period, these girls of Chibok have been released. It will be released. They didn't make that statement when they were sure that the government was not in power. So these things are not necessary. They are distractions. And I believe that government should focus on delivering the promises they made. And we have a lot of challenges. We must admit that. Are we talking about these girls that have been just released? The Chibok girls are not released. More people are dying through the hands of Boko Haram. We have incidents of herdsmen. So this issue of blame game should be discarded with. That's my humble opinion.
Finally, Mr. Ejiofor, what do you think should have been done differently from the beginning to prevent this from occurring, and even afterwards, knowing that the Chibok girls are still in captivity?
Yeah, you see, if you shouldn't be going forward and going backward. You see, there was this Safe School initiative that was earlier launched that I don't know what the position is, where donor agencies from international organizations and foreign countries made donations to the Nigerian government and the state governments that are involved in this to ensure the safety of schools. Our schools must be secured. That's the most important thing. And I'm happy too that the police are deployed, according to reports, over 2,000 policemen to that area to ensure, with the civil defense, to ensure that the schools are safe. That's the most important thing, because it's not an offense for children to go to school. It's their right, inalienable right, to be educated. So I think they should be safe wherever they are. I think the government should revisit the issue of the Safe School initiative.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mike Ejiofor, a former director of the Department of State Security, for coming on News Across Nigeria.
Thank you.
Now we'll turn our attention to the health sector in Edo State. It may be heading for a fresh crisis as the 21-day ultimatum issued for an indefinite strike gets closer. Chairman of the Nigeria Medical Association, Edo State, says the countdown to the expiration of the ultimatum began on Monday, 12th of March, when the association called off a 5-day warning strike. The doctors are trying to draw the state government's attention to the horrible state of facilities, and to put the government on notice about the impending strike should there be a failure to resolve all issues. Attempts to get the government's reaction through the State Commission of Health were unsuccessful.
It looks like a calm before the storm in the Edo State health sector. As an indefinite strike looms in the horizon. At the moment, things appear normal, but the doctors have begun counting down to the deadline of a 21-day ultimatum, which took effect when a 5-day warning strike was called off by the Nigeria Medical Association NMA Edo State branch on Monday, 12th of March 2018. The Edo NMA chairman says government is yet to respond to the contending issues.
We've not gotten any response from the government. No government official have called to discuss anything with us yet.
Dr. Carlo Maggie, the State Chairman Association of Resident Doctors under the aegis of Edo State Health Management Board, believes management can offer little or no succor without the help of government.
There is a long chain through which the MD passes. So the MD cannot even give any assurance, he can't give anything, he can't even tell us anything he can do as regards the situation.
The doctors expressed their reluctance to go on strike, saying the health of ordinary Nigerians could be jeopardized.
Most of the government people would always go abroad, find better hospitals, in quote, to go and get treatment. But at the end of the day, even when we are on strike, is our people, we are the ones who still bear the brunt, we are the ones who still suffer. So if there's any way we can avoid going on a strike, we always want to avoid it.
One of the best ways to develop human capital is to provide quality and affordable health care. Therefore, it is imperative for the government to act fast to avert a potential crisis in a sector already stretched beyond its limit. Osaizo Abaza reporting for Channels Television News.
You're watching news across Nigeria. Coming up, economic empowerment in Kano State. Stay with us.